Welcome to Entrepreneur Motivation. I am Fatima and I'm a voice catalyst. When I say that I'm a voice catalyst, that means the things that I say are meant to be positive disruptions, not only in your life, but also in your business. You are in the right place if you are desiring to start a business, or if you already have a business and want to grow and scale that business, you are in the right place. And so, one of the things, thank you so much. So I'm actually on Instagram and Facebook, and they said that they cannot hear me on Facebook. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? And let me see. I'm going to have you guys go to Fatima Speaks on IG. Fatima B Speaks on IG. Okay, so we're going to keep going. So one of the things that we have is essentially, this is Entrepreneur Motivation. And as a voice catalyst, I am very passionate about helping everyday entrepreneurs as well as everyday purpose-driven leaders to use their voice to advocate for themselves and others, okay? And when I say advocate for yourself, I really mean talking good about yourself in the ways in the ways that are positive for you, and not only to you, but to others that interact with you as well. So one of the things I decided that this whole series is just about connecting Bible-based principles to entrepreneurship. I'm a very practical person, and I'm someone who desires to actually have practicality and strategy in my day-to-day, day in and day out life, but then also in my business. And so what I'm doing is, this is an invitation to you on a practice that I do every day. Okay. And so whether this works for you or not, this is my invitation for you to kind of see how I navigate. If you're interested, I'm going to be taking in, when I say practical principles, and literally I'm using this Bible. Okay. Some people are like, what? Talking about the Bible? Yeah, it's actually dope. I love the Bible. It's one of my favorite books, and it's where I get my strategies, where I get my insights. It's how I do my approach. It's how I decide exactly. I'm so awesome. Hey, Jazz. It's what I actually decide to. It's how I live through here. There's practical strategies. It's not all righteous and holy. I'm not righteous and holy. Okay, there's some things that God is working on in me, which is completely fine. So the expectation is not perfection. The expectation is just progress and being present. That's all I want. So what we're going to do today is we're probably going to go to about 7:15, 7:20-ish. I'm going to give you guys some practical tips. I'm going to connect them back to entrepreneurship and how they've helped me, give you some different stories. And before I actually go in, I am not a pastor. I do not have a seminary degree. That's none of this. This is an everyday person as myself who wanted and desired to find a foundation and calling and being rooted and grounded with the world being so crazy. It's something that I've been doing for years, but I've decided to open this up to other people as well, to just be a part of the experience, okay? So another piece is, so my goal is, again, to include you in my practice. And if it works for you, take it. If it works for you, take it. And I want you to share it. So here's the thing. I'm going to give you a little bit of a responsibility. Guess what? After I share some of the information today, and if you decide to join me on these entrepreneur motivations, it also means that you are now responsible. I'm transferring this to you, because although I am a voice catalyst, I'm charging you to be a catalyst too. I'm charging you to be a disruptor in your life, into the people that you're encountering today and into the weekend. I know it's Friday. It may have been a long week for you, but guess what? You still have a responsibility. You still have a responsibility. If you are even on here and listening, you are part of the called, and you are meant to rise higher than the rest. So what we do is, it's not necessarily going to be easy, although it can be fun, but it's going to be new and it's going to be different. Okay, so let's step into a higher dimension. Let's step into a higher mindset. And today's topic is what's going on with your mindset. That's why I started out with Marvin Gaye's What's Going On. OG in the gang, right? So I'm going to go ahead and let you know I'm doing this test, Entrepreneur Motivation. It's Mondays and Fridays in the month of October from about 7 a.m. to 7:30 when I'm done talking, if it's sooner than that, then I'm just going to cut it off. Y'all can go, proceed to the rest of your day. So, again, my name is Fatima. I am your voice catalyst, and my company, liveinfavor.co. I want you to visit that. And if there's anything that resonates to you within our session today, I want you to go. I've pinned it in the comments. Go to liveinfavor.com. I think it's no www. It's just liveinfavor.co. After our session today, take the entrepreneur survey so we can find out what's going on with your mindset. All right, I am going to get started. And first, I'm going to start out with a prayer. If you are in a place, in a space that you can bow your head and close your eyes with me, please do so. If you are, taking the kids to school, if you're getting dressed and I'm kind of like the background noise, that's fine too. Okay. Bow your head and close your eyes if you can. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for waking us up this morning. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to be refreshed with your word and with your presence. Thank you so much, Father, for life. Thank you so much, Father, that you, despite the challenges that we may have encountered this week, you decided that we were enough to wake up and to be driven to your calling and to your purpose. Give me the insight, the language, and the tools and the resources, Father, to deliver what it is that you would have those who are other catalysts in listening to the message today. Allow those who desire to start a business to be encouraged to just do it, and allow those who are already in a business and desire to grow it to take it to the next level. In Jesus' name. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I love that you love that, Jazz. So I'm going to show you guys this again, just so that you know. This is a 1 year chronological Bible. It took me 4 years to read it, y'all. It took me 4 years. No shame in that. Everyone is in different spaces and places. But what it did was it helped to break down. It's the NIV version. It helped to break down practical principles again. I like practicality. It helped to break it down so that I understood what it was even saying, so that I can actually apply it to my life. And I believe that through actually reading, spending time with God, there's things that I have that are very close and dear to me that only me and God know. And this stuff that I'm sharing to you is what He's given me to share with you. Okay, so I encourage you that He is accessible to any and everybody, and these are practical strategies. So today I'm going to do something a little different. I'm reading out of, if you can follow with me, great. If not, you can listen to me in the background. I'm going in, if you guys are familiar with the story of Moses, not sure if you're familiar with the story of Moses, but I'm in Exodus 13:17. I'm going to read a couple of pieces, and this is essentially, I'm going to the place where Moses has now told Pharaoh, let my people go, and the Israelites are now going to the wilderness. Okay, so that's the stage that we're in. And if you're not familiar with the story, I suggest that you go read it. But what happens prior to is there's about 11 or 12 or so miracles that God does. There's he turns like Moses' rod into a snake. There's like locusts. He kills the firstborn children of Egypt. So there's like 11 different miracles. And now we're at the place where they're in the wilderness. Okay, it is Exodus 13, chapter 13. Verses 17. So I'm going to start at that point. So here we are. When Pharaoh finally let the people go, God did not lead them along the main roads that runs through the Philistine territory. Okay? Correct. Awesome. Thank you for posting that. Even though that was the shortest route to the promised land. Let me read that again. God did not lead them along the main roads that runs through the Philistine territory, even though that was the shortest route to the promised land. God said, if the people are faced with battle, they might change their mind and return to Egypt. So God led them around a way through the wilderness, through the Red Sea. Thus the Israelites left Egypt like an army ready for battle. Can I just stop right there? God already knew that they were going to change their mind. Do you know, let me introduce the thought of adversity. When they leave Egypt, I want you to put in your mind that that's like they're slaves in Egypt. They were calling out to him saying, I'm tired of being a slave. I'm tired of, these are my interpretations of everything. I'm tired of being a slave. I'm tired of doing these things. We're actually called. So God heard their prayers and their anguish over generations. Okay? This is not 10 years. This is not 3 years. Over generations, he has heard their prayers and their calls. He then leads them out of Egypt, which is where they used to be a slave. And then he says, I'm not going to take them directly to the promised land, to the next dimension, to your next level of impact and income, to your next business, to your next high following, if that's what you're after. I'm not going to take them immediately into the promised land. Because if I do that, that means that they're going to, good morning, that means that they are going to change their minds. mindset. If you have a slave mentality and then God takes you too quick to the promised land, you don't have the wisdom, the knowledge, and the information to sustain you when you actually get there. Okay? So adversity is meant to drive you. We always hear that. Like, why do you have, who likes adversity? I don't like adversity. I certainly don't like adversity. One of my favorite people just joined. I don't like adversity. But we have it. And when adversity is introduced to us, it's meant to build the muscle. But it's really what he's talking about here is a mindset and it's a heart posture. Let me keep going. I'm scrolling down to Exodus 14, chapter 14, verse 5. When word reached the king of Egypt that the Israelites had fled, Pharaoh and his officials changed their minds. What have we done letting those Israelites slaves get away? Mind you, back in the day, slaves were a form of economy. They were the ones who, if they didn't get that work done, the Egyptians weren't getting paid. Do you see what I'm saying? They're not getting paid. This is a part of an economy. The slaves were a part of their economy, and they just left. Their money just went out the door, okay? So Pharaoh harnessed his chariot and called up his troops. He took with him 600 of Egypt's best chariots along with the rest of their chariots. So here's Pharaoh. He said, what have we done? Why do we let these slaves go? They are our money. I'm chasing after them. Watch this. Exodus, I'm skipping down Exodus. I'm in chapter 14. I'm skipping down to verse 10. As Pharaoh approached, the people of Israel looked up and panicked when they saw the Egyptians overtaking them. They cried out to the Lord and they said to Moses, why did you bring us out here into this wilderness? Weren't there enough graves in Egypt? What? What have you done to us? Why did you make us leave Egypt? Didn't we tell you this would happen while we were still in Egypt? Leave us alone and let us be slaves to the Egyptians. It's better to be a slave in Egypt than a corpse in the wilderness. Let me introduce to you in this part. They preferred to actually be in the wilderness. They preferred to actually be in Egypt and slaves in their own mentality. When they were met with adversity, they got scared. And here's the thing, when you get scared and you're in your business and you're either deciding to start your business or you decide to grow to the next level in your business, something in that is going to take, good morning, Julie. Something in that is going to require you to have a new mentality. You cannot say God is not going to bring you somewhere into a new dimension if you don't have the mentality and the heart posture to sustain it. They started complaining. They were first crying out because they didn't want to be slaves anymore. Who would want to be a slave? Why would you want to be, and you know that God is giving you something very special. You know exactly that there's a calling on you. You know that there's a purpose for you. If you decided to take a step and even start your business, if you decided to move to a new location because you knew that you were called to do something different, if people have been coming to you, asking you for your advice, asking, can you do this for me? Can you do that? What do you think about this and that? That's a sign that you have a special gifting around something. That's a sign. You have an extra gift around something. But what do we do sometimes? Sometimes you can decide to go the other way. You can act like you didn't hear that. You can go out to the club. You can go with your friends. You can take another trip. You can go buy that extra bag or that extra pair of shoes and act like what you didn't hear wasn't what you heard. But you know you heard it, and I'm here to call you accountable. Again, I am a catalyst. I am meant to say things that are a positive disruption to your life. I'm not here to make this. It's not supposed to be easy. It's not supposed to be loving and kind. I'm always wanting to give you love. I'm always wanting to give you respect. But at the end of the day, I'm here to talk about accountability. These slaves were in the wilderness and they were talking to Moses and they said, why did you bring me out here? Weren't you just complaining about being in that place? You were just complaining about it. Now God has given you the answer and you are afraid to take the next step because you met with a little adversity. Let me keep going. So then, but Moses told the people, I'm in Exodus chapter 14, verses 13. Don't be afraid. Just stand still and watch the Lord rescue you today. The Egyptians see you today the Egyptians you see today, you will never see again. The adversity you see today, you will never see again. That's the interpretation. The Lord himself will fight for you. Just stay calm. Let me also introduce this to you. In this entire episode, in this entire season, God told them exactly what he was going to do. God is a man of strategy. He's a master strategist. If you think that you got it figured out, you ain't seen nothing yet, babe. You ain't seen nothing yet. Let me introduce to you that God will give you the plan. He will tell you the vision. He gonna tell you how he will do it. And it's up to us to actually listen. The biggest challenge that you have is that you do not trust him. You do not trust him. What is trust? Trust is a firm reliability on someone or something. It doesn't waver. When you wake up in the morning, do you trust that you can get out of your bed and step on both of your feet? Do you trust that you can walk yourself to the bathroom? When you start your car, are you trusting that it will work? Sometimes that might not be the best one, because sometimes some people have to pray, Lord, please let this car work. So that might not be the best one. But do you trust that you're even going to have tomorrow to open your eyes? Somewhere, I can't remember who said it, but trusting or believing that you have more time than what you think you do is a sign of arrogance. You don't actually have time. You don't actually have time. So do exactly what it is that you need to do. If you hear God calling you, it's okay to step into it. And the sign that you are stepping into it is if you are afraid, if you are nervous, if you are overwhelmed, if you do feel doubt. That's a sign. And what you're supposed to do is go inside of prayer and ask God, especially if you are a faith-based person. Again, I'm not preaching this super religious thing. That's not what, look, I've had my own battles with the church. I've learned to take Bible reading and my own prayer on my own. And what I'm saying is there's a conversation. You are designed specifically for a purpose. I don't care who you are, how old you are, what you look like, how much money you have, how much money you don't have, how much education you have, how little education you don't have. I don't care. It doesn't matter, because all of those pieces of your identity have been formed and molded and shaped perfectly just for you. Just for you. Just for you. And so when we get into this story, that's my main purpose, is just making sure that's the scripture today. What's going on with your mindset? God gave you a vision. If he hasn't given you a vision, are you listening? Has he already told you what it is, but you don't want to listen? Get silent, get still. That's a part of the solution. When you get silent and you get still, he will give you the vision for what you're supposed to be doing for your life and what you can do for your business. I don't care if there's 5 people on here or if there's 500 or 5,000. My message will be the same. Your mindset is most important. At the end of the day, God is the one who will give you the structure, the foundation, the vision, and the ability to sustain you when you actually get to the promised land. Okay? I hope this message resonates with you. And again, I'm Fatima. I connect these things as a voice catalyst. My voice is meant to be a positive disruptor in your life. It's not meant to feel good all the time. And here's what the thing is, the things that I'm saying as a catalyst, I now charge you as a catalyst. I now charge you to be someone who goes and says what they need to do to be inside of their own message, but then take this somewhere else. Take this to your brother, to your mother, to your sister, to your family, to your coworkers, to your colleagues, to your clients. Shift it. You already have what you need. You are already enough. God has given you the vision. Stop acting scared. You have nothing to be afraid of. You are made in his image. He's already told you what it is. And the best way to know that you are in the right place is if you are feeling fear, if you're feeling a little bit of doubt. The things that we have kept and have operated as our default mode start to rise up to the top when we decide to go to the next level. And we can only operate in the next level if we are connected to the God who is sustaining us and driving us in that direction. And I believe if you are on this call, if you are here on this live, if you are seeing the replay, then you have been called to the next level. I am also a firm believer of courage. That courage can transform any individual, business, or organization. I'm a firm believer in that. If you desire to start a business, if you are in a dream, if you have a dream, a mission, a thing that you are so just in your heart, you think about it every single day, you need courage to sustain. You need courage to get started in and out of all those pieces. So this is Fatima. Oh, this is Fatima. This is Entrepreneur Motivation. I am Fatima. Again, I'm a voice catalyst, and I love and I'm very passionate about helping everyday leaders as well as purpose-driven entrepreneurs to use and find their voice to advocate for themselves and others. My company, liveinfavor.co, is inspired and uniquely designed to move you forward in whatever that step is through one-on-one group calls or consulting as well as courses. What I have for you is, if you're wondering what's going on with your mindset, I want you to visit liveinfavor.co and go to the entrepreneur survey. Now it's the HTTPS liveinfavor.co. It's not www. It's the HTTPS, like I think it's ://liveinfavor.co. Go to that, and hey sis, go to that, and I would love for you to take the entrepreneur survey so we can understand what's going on in your mind. I hope this information has been helpful for you. Like I said, this is Entrepreneur Motivation, and I plan to be on Wednesday and Friday at 7 a.m. in the month of October, and we'll go until about 7:15, 7:30. Today we're going to go ahead and end a little bit early, and love you guys. You are meant to do amazing things. It is Friday. That doesn't mean that this is time for you to just shut it down. It's time for you to get up and get going. What's going on with your mindset? What's going on with your mindset? I hope this has been helpful for you today. Have a great day. Blessings to you. Thank you for joining me.